Well, a lot of people all across the country worried about what's going to happen with the economy. We've assembled our own little town hall here this morning, Julie, with folks from the Nashville area who have real important questions. Well, they hope they get some answers.
Yeah, and with me in New York, our two top financial and investment advisors are Ray Martin and Jennifer Openshaw, president of WeSee.com, a website that educates investors, and we hope they have the answers. Let's start with the young lady next to you.
All right, thanks very much, Julie. We're going to talk now with Sharday Carney. You're a recent grad. You've got all kinds of optimism. You want to build for the future, talking about even, building or buying a home. What's your question this morning?
With the economy the way it is right now, what advice can you give people in my situation who are eager to get their first home bought?
They're trying to get some traction out here. It's not easy.
Ray, let me have you start.
Sharday, I love that question. When I bought my first home in 1989, the economy was in rough shape right then. It was slowing down, and we bought a two-family home. I rented out the top of the home, top half of the home. I lived there for about $300 a month net out-of-pocket cash. I put 20% down. I got a fixed-rate mortgage. I lived conservatively. I think you're going to really have to think about that. You're going to need to save your down payment money. You're going to need to be financially prepared to buy a home. It's a big responsibility. You're going to need to have a solid credit score to do that. And until you have those things in place, put that decision off until you get your financial situation in great shape.
Jennifer, do you agree with that?
Well, a couple things that she can think about doing actually is maybe even bringing her parents in as an investor, because the fact is it's a great time between now and the next year, I think, to be buying. Prices have come down so much in some areas, 20, 30, even 40%. There's lots of opportunity out there. I love that she's focused on it, and she should think about getting a renter to join her and keep those costs down. So I think it is something that she could possibly do in the short term.
Okay, let me go to our next question came on the internet. It says, I own a small construction company in Vermont. Will there be any assistance for small businesses like mine to weather through these tough times? And that comes from April. Jennifer, you begin.
Well, boy, small businesses are really feeling the pain because these banks are not giving those loans to companies that even have cash flow coming in. They're strong companies. And so what I would suggest with somebody like him who's got this construction business is to think about positioning himself for the longer term. Maybe partner with local home building stores or others who can help bring him business. So it's not just going it alone in this economy, but it's partnering up so that you can get more business.
Harry, let's go to you with your next question there.
All right, thanks very much. We're with David Haley. You're a young father. How many kids?
One.
And what's your question?
Well, my question is, I allocate a certain amount of money to my 401k. And should I continue to do that, or should I put that into a savings account now? Should I reallocate that cash somewhere else?
That's a really good question, because we've all been plowing all this money in the 401k, and every time we go to look, it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Ray,
what's
what do you
the answer,
say?
guys?
Yeah, I know the feeling out there is, am I throwing good money after bad? But remember, your 401k plan is a long-term savings plan that comes with built-in advantages. First, that money is deposited in a trust. It's secure from your employer's creditors and your creditors. Second, you'll have employer matching money. Who's going to add money to your savings anywhere else? Like in a savings account, the bank's not going to add 6%, for example, or 3% on your first 6% of savings here. Also, you're buying at lower prices here if you're allocated properly for a portfolio that's diversified that includes cash, bonds, and stocks. Keep your savings rate going. Matter of fact, that's what professional pension advisors do. When their assets are down and they have to pay out their pensioners, they continue to add contributions to the asset pool. So be a pension of one here, continue your savings here. But however, don't do it to the point that you don't have any cash in an emergency fund. You need to make sure you do have a balance you need for current cash and long-term savings.
What about rolling it over to an IRA? Because that's what someone emailed us. Should they take their 401k and roll it over there, Jennifer?
I don't think it makes sense unless, for example, they've left the employer. It's just easier to manage your money having it at a single brokerage account, for example. Some people might think about doing it if they want to put their money into an FDIC-protected CD, for example, but
well, I want to add that rolling your money over to an IRA, if you've left your employer already, may have some advantages to people that are in really tough shape. Remember, there are exceptions to taking money out of an IRA to avoid the 10% early withdrawal penalty. There's about 9 exceptions. One of those is to pay for health insurance benefits if you happen to be unemployed. It can be a source of emergency cash. I don't recommend doing it, but if you need to keep your health insurance coverage because you have pre-existing medical conditions, and that can really wipe you out, this could be a source of withdrawal from that in a rollover IRA. Very extreme situation. You'll see a tax advisor and a financial planner before you do that.
All right, Harry, let's go to the next young lady who is with you.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and jump ahead here. We've got Jane Nickel, who's an undergrad. Like all these other students here, probably got bunches of student loans. What's your question?
Yes, I was just wondering, as someone that's about to graduate from college and looking into graduate schools, what the economy is going to do for people like myself looking to get private student loans for grad school and undergrad.
We need to keep this real brief, Jennifer.
Well, first of all, a great idea to go back to school and get a graduate degree if you can, because you can increase your salary by 10, 20, 30%. And I think it's going to mean that you're going to have to hunker down on expenses and maybe do what I did, which is to move in with your parents, keep those expenses low while you're going to college.
All right, Jennifer Openshaw. Ray Martin, our advisor, thank you so much.
You're welcome.